Chosen one, you've noticed people malfunctioning around you, like God sent you, and suddenly they turn into NPCs before your eyes. The switch-ups are undeniable. You are not imagining this. You are not shrinking. You are expanding faster than others can adjust. Their malfunction is confirmation. What's awakening in you is unstoppable now. Your whole life has been training for this moment. From when you were small, you knew you were different. You could feel things others couldn't. You saw through lies everyone else accepted. You had this knowing in your bones that you were here for something massive, something that would shake foundations. You learned about sacrifice before you should have known that word existed. You had to choose between terrible options when other kids were choosing toys. You had to survive environments hostile to your spirit. You had to mother yourself when the people supposed to protect you were too broken to show up. And here's the part that shaped everything. You learned early that speaking your truth meant punishment. So you started keeping your deepest wounds to yourself. Every time you opened up, people weaponized it. They twisted your pain into gossip. They used your vulnerability as ammunition. That's why you move the way you move now. You keep your cards close to your chest. You stay strategic with what you share, because you know what they would do with the full picture. But what you're working through right now goes deeper. You're not just healing your trauma. You're carrying ancestral pain that's been cycling through your bloodline for generations. And you looked at that cycle and said, enough. This ends with me. You're the generational curse breaker. You're not just disrupting your timeline. You're disrupting an entire lineage of dysfunction. This is why Archangel Michael stays close, why you keep seeing repeated numbers and synchronicities too specific to ignore. The spiritual realm is screaming for your attention because you're doing something most people never attempt. You're working through post-traumatic stress while simultaneously closing karmic cycles. You're healing yourself and your entire bloodline at once, and you're almost there. You can feel the finish line even though you can't see it. That's why you're doubling down, going deeper even when it feels like fire. Facing shadows most people run from their entire lives, and the devil is absolutely furious because he knows what's coming next. The devil knows everyone's price. Not everyone's faith is as strong as yours. Not everyone's connection to source is unshakable. Some people talk like warriors of light, but the moment testing comes, the moment something appeals to their ego or insecurity, they fold, they switch teams, they become agents of the very darkness they claim to fight against. Watch how it happens. You meet someone who seems perfectly aligned. You get excited. You start making plans, building something meaningful, and then almost immediately they switch. You can see it in real time. Their eyes go blank. Their energy completely shifts. 1 minute they're celebrating you, the next they're trying to control you, silence you, dim your light. This is people turning into NPCs right before your eyes, non-player characters. 1 minute they're conscious and present, the next they're controlled by an external force with one mission: stop you from ascending, stop you from stepping into your power, stop you from completing your assignment. You have multiple psychic abilities and discernment is one of your strongest. You can literally watch the shadow take over someone's body. You see their aura change colors. You hear the shift in their voice, the change in their energy signature. You know this entity. You recognize this spirit immediately because you've been dealing with it your whole life. The dark forces know exactly who to target in your circle. They know which buttons to push. They know how to infiltrate and plant seeds of doubt, distraction, destruction. You've watched it happen so many times. Just as you met someone, they flipped. You went back, and a completely different person stood before you, like watching a body snatcher movie, except it's your real life. But every single person who malfunctions around you is doing you a favor. They're showing you who can't go where you're headed. They're revealing who lacks the capacity to operate at your frequency. They're proving who was only in your life for a season, and that season just ended. So let me give you the perspective shift that changes everything. Walk in like God sent you, because that's exactly what happened. You didn't give yourself this assignment. You didn't choose this path because it looked fun. You were selected. You were equipped. You were trained through every single trial you endured. Every time someone tries to undermine you, every time someone questions your motives, understand this: they're not questioning you. They're questioning God's plan working through you. And that's on them. That's their spiritual blindness. That's their inability to recognize divinity standing right in front of them. You're exhausted from being shut down. You're tired of your psychic abilities being invalidated by people who can barely see past their own limited reality. You refuse to let it happen anymore. You absolutely refuse. And that refusal is what's about to set everything in motion. If this message aligned with your purpose, hype this video so fellow chosen ones can find their confirmation. Never take advice from somebody who's still in the cage with you. If someone is preaching about how to escape, but they're locked up right next to you, they're not leading the way. The cage isn't even open for them yet. Why would you follow their directions? Never take advice from people moving slower than you. Never take advice from people who haven't even started their soul mission. You've already begun. You're already in motion. You're already doing work that terrifies most people. So why would you let somebody stuck in their comfort zone tell you how to navigate your breakthrough? There's a fundamental difference between you and most people. You know you'll always be a student. You're humble enough to recognize there's always more to learn, deeper levels to access, new dimensions of truth to explore. But you also carry wisdom. You carry earned knowledge. You carry battle scars that taught you lessons most people will never face. And then you deal with people who refuse to acknowledge they're still students. They act open to learning, but they show you complete resistance. They shut down your perspectives. They dismiss your insights. They try to make you feel small for seeing things they can't comprehend. These people are about to get a massive wake-up call. When you step into your full power, you're starting to see the pattern now. It's not random. It's not coincidence. Every person who malfunctions around you does it at a specific moment, right when you're about to level up, right when you're about to launch something, right when you're about to step into new territory. That's when they glitch. That's when the switch flips. And you've noticed something else. The closer someone gets to you, the harder the dark forces work to corrupt them. It's like there's an invisible target on anyone who enters your inner circle. They get tested immediately, and most of them fail. Most of them fold. Most of them become NPCs before you even finish building trust with them. You've watched people you were excited about completely transform within days. Someone who was talking about dreams and purpose and alignment suddenly starts talking about why you should play it safe, why you should slow down, why you should reconsider, why you should doubt what you know to be true. And their voice sounds different when they say it. Their energy feels different, like they're reading from a script they didn't write. This is the malfunction you keep witnessing. People around you are losing their autonomy. They're losing their free will. They're becoming puppets for forces that want to stop your ascension. And the wild part is, they don't even realize it's happening. They think their sudden change of heart is organic. They think their new perspective is their own, but you can see the possession, you can see the override, you can see the moment they stop being themselves. You've developed an ability to spot it instantly now. You can tell within seconds of interaction whether you're talking to the real person or the NPC version. The real version has light in their eyes. They have spontaneity in their responses. They have authentic emotional range. The NPC version is flat, predictable. They're running on limited programming that repeats the same talking points no matter what you say. You need to walk in like God sent you and talk like God sent you. When people try to silence you, when they try to gaslight what you know is true, when they try to make you question your own perception, remember this: your perception is a divine gift. Your ability to see through illusions is not a flaw. Your refusal to accept comfortable lies is not a problem. It's your superpower. You had to learn how to mother yourself. You had a parent who didn't show up. You figured out from a very young age how to meet your own emotional needs, how to soothe yourself, how to validate yourself, how to believe in yourself when no one else did. You learned about sacrifice before you understood what it meant. You made choices no child should ever have to make. This shaped who you are. This made you the fighter. This is why you don't give up or give in. You learned resilience before you learned to read. You learned survival before you learned social skills. You were forced to grow up fast, and that gave you an edge most people will never possess. You've been overlooked your entire life. People saw your potential, and it terrified them, so they pretended not to see it. They crowned someone less threatening. They promoted someone more controllable. They celebrated people who posed no challenge while you stood there with gifts and vision that could change the world, and they acted like you were invisible. But you're not invisible anymore. You're becoming impossible to ignore. Your frequency is rising. Your presence is expanding. Your light is getting so bright, people can't pretend they don't see you anymore. And that's exactly why they're malfunctioning. They either have to acknowledge your greatness or become an active opponent. There's no middle ground left. You're being tested constantly, and you know it. Every person who malfunctions is a test. Every situation where someone tries to dim your light is a test. Every moment where you have to choose between speaking your truth or keeping the peace is a test. And you've been passing. That's what they hate most. You keep passing. They send people to distract you, and you stay focused. They send people to seduce you away from your path, and you stay committed. They send people to make you doubt your gifts, and you trust yourself anyway. They send people to drain your energy, and you cut them off. They send people to gaslight your experiences, and you believe your own perception. Every test you pass makes you stronger. It makes you sharper. It makes you harder to deceive. And that's terrifying to the dark forces, because they're running out of tactics that work on you. They're running out of people they can use against you. They're running out of time to stop what you're about to become. So now they're getting desperate. Now the attacks are more obvious. Now the malfunctions are happening faster and sloppier, because they know you're close to breakthrough. They know you're close to activation. They know you're close to stepping into a level of power where you become untouchable. And you can feel it too. You can feel yourself changing, upgrading. You're evolving beyond the version of you that used to get hurt by betrayals, beyond the version that used to question yourself when people turned on you, beyond the version that used to make excuses for poor treatment. You're becoming the version that sees the malfunction and says next, the version that recognizes the NPC and removes them from your circle without hesitation, the version that protects your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. You're starting to understand something powerful about your voice. When you speak your truth, you disrupt the programming around you. When you call out what you see, you force people to either wake up or reveal themselves fully. Your voice is like a frequency that breaks through the illusion. That's why they work so hard to silence you. Every time you open your mouth to speak what you know to be true, watch what happens. People get uncomfortable, people get defensive, people get activated, because your truth challenges their comfortable lies, your clarity challenges their confusion, your alignment challenges their compromise, and the NPCs can't handle it at all. Your voice short-circuits them, because they're running on programming designed to keep you quiet, keep you small, keep you doubting yourself. But when you speak anyway, when you share your perspective anyway, when you stand in your truth anyway, their programming doesn't know what to do, so they malfunction even harder. You've seen it happen in real time. You speak truth in a room, and you watch people literally glitch. They stutter, they contradict themselves, they get flustered, they can't maintain their composure, because the entity controlling them doesn't have a response for someone who refuses to be controlled. This is your power. This is what they fear, not your psychic abilities, not your intelligence, not your success. They fear your voice. They fear what happens when you use it. They fear the awakening you cause in others when you speak without filter or fear, so they've tried everything to keep you silent. They made you feel crazy for what you see. They made you feel like you're too much. They made you feel like you should tone it down. They made you feel like you're being dramatic, or paranoid, or too intense, all designed to get you to stop speaking, to stop exposing, to stop calling out the malfunctions you witness. But you're done playing small. You're done moderating your truth. You're done softening your message to make others comfortable, because you've realized that your voice doesn't just protect you, it protects everyone who's ready to hear it. Everyone who's been waiting for permission to trust their own discernment. Everyone who's been doubting what they clearly see. Here's what they really don't want you to know. Every time you refuse to back down, you inspire someone else to stand up. Every time you call out a malfunction, someone else gains the courage to do the same. Every time you use your voice despite the opposition, you create a ripple effect that spreads further than you realize. You think you're just standing up for yourself. You think you're just protecting your own peace. You think you're just refusing to be manipulated anymore, but you're doing so much more than that. You're modeling what empowerment looks like. You're showing what happens when someone refuses to be controlled. You're demonstrating that it's possible to see through the illusion and still stand strong. People are watching you even when you don't know it. People are drawing strength from your strength. People are learning from how you handle the attacks, how you handle the betrayals, how you handle the people who malfunction around you, and they're starting to apply it to their own lives. This is the revolution they fear. Not just you breaking free, but you showing others how to break free. Not just you recognizing the NPCs, but you teaching others how to recognize them too. Not just you refusing to be silenced, but you inspiring others to speak up as well. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. The beauty is you don't even have to lift a finger. You put on the headphones, press play and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. You're becoming a threat to the entire system of control. Because you're not just surviving it, you're exposing it. You're not just protecting yourself from it, you're helping others protect themselves too. You're not just breaking your own chains, you're showing others where their chains are. And every person who wakes up because of you is another person the dark forces lose control over. Every person who learns to spot the malfunctions is another person who can't be easily manipulated. Every person who finds their voice is another voice they can't silence. This is bigger than you. This has always been bigger than you. Your personal healing journey is connected to collective awakening. Your refusal to stay quiet is connected to others finding their voice. Your ability to see NPCs is connected to others learning to see them too. That's why the attacks have been so intense. That's why the betrayals have been so painful. That's why the malfunctions around you have been so constant. Because you're not just a chosen one working on your own salvation. You're a chosen one whose freedom unlocks freedom for others. Something is happening to your frequency that goes beyond what you can see. Your vibration is rising so fast that you're creating interference in the systems designed to control humanity. You're operating at a level now where lower vibrational entities literally cannot maintain their presence around you for long. This is why bugs act strange in your space. This is why electronics glitch when you're activated. This is why lights flicker, why devices malfunction, why things break around you when you're in high-frequency states. Your energy is so intense it affects physical matter, and it's definitely affecting people. When someone operating at a low frequency gets close to you now, they feel it. They might not understand what they're feeling, but they feel the discomfort. They feel the pressure to either rise up or get out, and most of them get out, because rising up would require them to face everything they've been avoiding. The NPCs feel it most of all. Your presence disrupts their programming. Your frequency scrambles their signal. Your energy exposes the entity controlling them. That's why they can't stay around you without either waking up or completely malfunctioning. There's no middle ground anymore. You've noticed people acting erratic around you lately, more than usual, like your mere presence agitates something within them. They get fidgety, restless, anxious, aggressive, or they completely shut down. They go quiet, they withdraw, they leave abruptly, all because they can't handle the frequency you're emanating. This isn't your fault. This isn't something you need to fix or tone down. This is actually confirmation that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be a frequency disruptor. You're supposed to shake people out of their comfort zones. You're supposed to challenge the status quo just by existing in your full power. The people who are meant to be in your life will rise to meet your frequency. They'll do the work. They'll face their shadows. They'll level up. They'll match your energy. Everyone else will malfunction and exit. And that's perfect. That's the natural selection process of vibration. You don't need to chase anyone. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to lower your frequency to keep people comfortable. You just need to keep rising, keep activating, keep expanding, and watch how effortlessly the right people find you while the wrong people remove themselves. Your frequency is your protection now. It's your filter. It's your shield. Anyone who can't vibe with it doesn't belong in your reality. Anyone who malfunctions around it is showing you they're not aligned. Anyone who tries to get you to dim it is revealing their true agenda. So turn it up, amplify it, let it get even stronger. Let it become so powerful that only people operating in truth can stand in your presence. Let it become so intense that darkness has no choice but to flee when you enter a room. You're about to do something that's going to shock everyone who thought they had you figured out. You're about to confront the malfunctions directly. You're about to call people out. You're about to say the things that need to be said without sugarcoating, without softening, without apologizing. And they're not ready for it, because they've gotten used to you being quiet. They've gotten comfortable with you keeping the peace. They assumed your silence meant acceptance. They thought your patience meant permission. They confused your spiritual maturity with weakness. But you've been quiet because you were observing. You've been patient because you were gathering information. You've been peaceful because you were choosing your battles. And now the observation period is over. Now you have all the information you need. Now you've chosen your battle, and you're ready to fight. When you start speaking up, some people are going to act shocked. They're going to act offended. They're going to act hurt. They're going to try to make you feel like you're being mean or unreasonable or too harsh. They're going to play victim. They're going to twist your words. They're going to try to make it seem like you're the problem. Let them, because their reaction tells you everything you need to know. People who genuinely care about you will hear you. They'll receive your feedback. They'll make adjustments. They'll apologize if they've crossed lines. They'll engage in real dialogue. The NPCs will deflect. They'll attack. They'll gaslight. They'll try to make you doubt yourself. They'll bring up your past mistakes. They'll call you hypocritical. They'll do anything except take accountability. Because they can't. The entity controlling them won't allow it. So you're going to get very clear very quickly about who's who. Your confrontations will separate the real from the fake. Your boundaries will reveal who respects you and who's been using you. Your voice will expose who can handle your truth and who needs you to stay silent to feel powerful, and you're prepared for all of it. You've already accepted that some people won't make it through this phase with you. You've already grieved the relationships that are about to end. You've already made peace with standing alone if that's what integrity requires, because you'd rather be alone in your truth than surrounded by people living in lies. You'd rather have a small circle of real ones than a large circle of NPCs. You'd rather speak and face consequences than stay silent and lose yourself. This is your line in the sand. This is your declaration of independence. This is your official notice that the old version of you who tolerated disrespect is gone, and the new version doesn't negotiate with people who don't value you. You're swearing an oath to yourself. This week will be different. You might have backed down before. You might have left early. You might have avoided confrontation. You might not have said as much as you should have. But you're making time now. You're making time today. You're making time all week. You're going to handle what needs to be handled. You're promising yourself that you did things their way, and you're never doing that again, ever. And if people don't like that, you genuinely don't care. Their comfort is no longer your concern. Their approval is no longer your goal. Their acceptance is no longer required. You're stepping into a level of dominance that even you didn't see coming. This isn't the aggressive, ego-driven dominance that tries to control others. This is the quiet, unshakable dominance that comes from knowing exactly who you are and refusing to pretend otherwise. It makes them choose their words more carefully. It makes them think twice before trying you, and it's happening naturally. You're not forcing it. You're not performing it. You're simply standing in your full power and watching how it reorganizes everything around you. People who used to talk over you now wait for you to finish. People who used to dismiss your ideas now ask for your input. People who used to take you for granted now recognize your value. The malfunctioning NPCs can't handle this version of you at all. Their programming was designed for the old you, the you who second-guessed yourself, the you who made excuses for bad behavior, the you who gave endless chances. But this new you, their programming has no response for this. So they're glitching harder than ever. They're getting more obvious. They're making sloppier mistakes. They're showing their hand too early. And you're watching it all with this calm detachment because you're no longer emotionally invested in their games. You see them playing, and you simply choose not to participate. You've become untouchable in a way that has nothing to do with arrogance and everything to do with alignment. You're so firmly rooted in your truth that outside opinions can't shake you anymore. Outside betrayals can't break you anymore. Outside attacks can't diminish you anymore. People are starting to notice something different about you. They can't quite put their finger on it, but they know you've changed. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You move through the world differently. There's an authority in you now that wasn't there before, a certainty, a presence, and the ones who've been trying to control you are losing their minds over it, because control only works on people who doubt themselves. Control only works on people who seek external validation. Control only works on people who are afraid of being alone, and you're none of those things anymore. You've done the inner work. You've faced your shadows. You've healed your wounds. You've built your self-worth from the inside out. So now when people try to manipulate you, it doesn't land. When they try to guilt you, it doesn't work. When they try to intimidate you, it bounces off. This is what true power looks like. Not loud, not aggressive, not desperate to be seen or heard, just solid, just certain, just completely unmoved by anything that doesn't align with your highest good. You could whisper, and they would feel terror, because people know you could be naturally loud, so when you're whispering they understand something has shifted. You have tiger energy. You have this unshakable presence that says, I am not moving. I am not budging from where I know I belong. While everyone was focused on your malfunctions and your setbacks and your struggles, you were building an empire. While they were gossiping about your journey, you were laying foundations. While they were waiting for you to fail, you were succeeding in ways they couldn't see. Because real power moves in silence, real success happens behind the scenes, real transformation occurs in the private moments when nobody's watching, and you've been putting in that work consistently while others were busy performing for an audience. Now it's all starting to manifest in ways they can't ignore. Now the blessings are becoming visible. Now the elevation is undeniable. Now the success is obvious, and they're confused because they missed the entire process. They only saw the struggle. They didn't see the strategy. The NPCs especially don't know how to process your success, because they were sent to stop you, to delay you, to discourage you, and you succeeded anyway. You thrived anyway. You leveled up anyway. Their entire mission failed, and now they're malfunctioning, trying to understand how. This is your proof. This is your confirmation that you were never meant to be stopped. Every attack was meant to strengthen you. Every betrayal was meant to teach you. Every setback was meant to redirect you. And it all worked exactly as it was supposed to. You're not the same person who started this journey. You're not even in the same category anymore. You've transcended. You've transformed. You've evolved into someone who operates on a completely different frequency than where you started. So now you're building in a new realm. You're playing in a new league. You're operating by new rules. And the people from your old life who couldn't evolve with you are stuck watching from a distance. They're commenting. They're judging. They're hoping you fail so they can feel better about staying stuck. But you're not going backwards. You're not going back to old patterns. You're not going back to old versions of yourself. You're moving forward with or without anyone's approval, with or without anyone's understanding. Because you finally understand that this journey was never about them. This journey was always about you becoming who you were created to be. And nobody's opinion about that matters, except yours and God's. You were always supposed to be this powerful. You were always meant to have this much influence. You were always destined to rise this high. The malfunctions weren't random obstacles. They were divinely orchestrated tests designed to prove you were ready for what's next. Every person who turned into an NPC around you was actually showing you how easily people can be controlled when they're not grounded in their own truth. Every betrayal was teaching you to trust your discernment over your emotions. Every attack was strengthening your spiritual armor. Every setback was redirecting you towards something better. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. You weren't being targeted for destruction. You were being trained for dominion. You weren't experiencing spiritual warfare because you were weak. You were experiencing it because you're a threat to the darkness, and now you're stepping into the fullness of that. Now you're embracing your role as a disruptor. Now you're accepting your position as a leader. Now you're owning your power as a chosen one who refused to stay chosen in silence. The people malfunctioning around you aren't your problem anymore. They're confirmation you're on the right path. The NPCs showing up in your life aren't obstacles anymore. They're indicators you're doing something significant. The attacks increasing aren't signs to retreat anymore. They're signs you're getting closer to your breakthrough. So keep going, keep rising, keep speaking, keep building, keep trusting what you see, even when others try to convince you you're wrong. Keep believing in yourself, even when you're standing alone. Keep honoring your truth, even when it costs you relationships, because everything you've been through was preparing you for everything you're about to step into. And what you're about to step into is so far beyond what anyone expected that the only appropriate response is to walk in like God sent you. Let them malfunction. Let them glitch. Let them turn into NPCs. Because while they're stuck in their programming, you're ascending. While they're repeating the same patterns, you're breaking generational curses. While they're playing small, you're expanding into the empire that was always meant to be yours. Your vibration is amplifying to the point where it's affecting the physical realm around you. You might notice bugs acting strange in your presence. Your frequency is so high, it's literally disrupting lower vibrational entities. This is confirmation you're tuning into something powerful. You're becoming a tuning fork for divine frequency, and everything that can't match it has to exit your field. You're fighting off parasitic energy. You're about to do a major energetic cleanse. People are going to have to put respect on your name because things happen that you never want to repeat. You got a preview of how some people think they can operate with you, and you're about to auto-correct all of it. You are on that zero-tolerance frequency now. Walk in like God sent you. Talk like God sent you. Move like God sent you. You're not here by accident. You're not here to play small. You're not here to comfort others. You're here to revolutionize. You're here to transform. You're here to show people what's possible when you refuse to settle for less than divine ordination. This is your time. This is your moment. This is your season to rise. Nothing and no one can stop what God already set in motion. You are the chosen one who refused to stay chosen in silence. You are the voice that will not be silenced. You are the light that will not be dimmed. You are the revolution that's already begun. So walk in like God sent you, because that's exactly what happened, and everyone who tried to make you malfunction is about to watch you dominate instead.